Hey everybody, welcome to the VR Game Rankings YouTube channel. You are now tuned in to the daily vlog series. This is episode 87 for Tuesday, January 30th. And of course, this is a daily VR gaming news and discussion show. And we're going to go ahead and get into some VR news and discussion. And, you know, the first story that I have is actually not a story that is on, say, Upload VR or Road to VR. I'm actually going to go to a thread that was on the Vive subreddit that I think is very interesting, because this is something that has been brewing in the background for a number of months, and this is kind of a dark cloud that is off on the horizon that is starting to head towards the VR gaming industry, and it really could affect the VR gaming industry. It can affect the overall PC gaming industry. This is really a weird situation, and I thought it would be interesting if I went ahead and got into this topic. So what am I talking about? Okay, so there was a thread on the Vive subreddit. This was by Josh the Nerd, and Josh the Nerd created a new post on the subreddit asking a question, and here was his question: could cryptocurrency mining threaten VR growth and PC gaming as a whole? And this thread really started to gain some steam. A lot of people got into this thread. There was a lot of discussion back and forth, a lot of doom and gloom, other people saying don't worry about it. But anyway, I thought what I'll do here is I'll go ahead and read what his post was, and then we can get into a little bit of a discussion about it. Okay, so here's what he had to say. The prices for high-end GPUs are now absolutely ridiculous. Before, I was okay with paying $750 for a top-tier GPU. Now we're looking at a minimum of $1,000 US, and that's if they're even available. I personally think crypto mining is a huge threat to the future of VR. Even though I wasn't thrilled spending $750 on a GPU, I at least knew that was what the MSRP is. Now I won't pay these spiked prices, so I'll just sit here with my 980 Ti until prices either drop or until I just can't run new games, which seems like that'll happen sooner than later. Once it gets to that point, I'll likely be done with VR. Something has to be done about this, or VR enthusiasts will think twice when it comes to picking up a new card. Okay, so anyway, that was his breakdown of this topic, and the number one upvoted comment to this thread is by Columbiant. And here's what he had to say. Now, this was upvoted. It got 128 points with upvotes at the time of me recording this show. He says, or if Cryptcoin's bubble burst, secondhand GPUs everywhere. And so that's kind of the general sentiment that we get with this topic, is that, yes, this is something of a disaster for anyone that is looking to upgrade, anyone that's looking to build their own PC and get into the VR game, or get into basically PC gaming in general. If you're looking to buy a video card, it is sticker shock like we've never seen before. And I just go back to my own personal situation, and this is so many months ago now, but I remember, I guess this must have been probably late summer of last year. I was looking to upgrade. I have a freaking 970 graphics card. I've been stuck on this 970 forever, and I really made a major mistake by not upgrading a long time ago. And at one point, I was watching the prices of 1080 video cards. And I'm not talking about 1080 Ti, I'm talking about the regular 1080. You know, you have the 1070, the 1080, the 1080 Ti. I was watching prices of 1080s, and I was watching this on Slick Deals, and what was happening is every once in a while, Newegg, through their eBay channel, through Newegg's eBay store, every once in a while they would have a dramatic sale on a 1080 video card, and people were actually getting 1080s for like $415. Okay, $415 for a 1080. This is a long time ago now, and I was like that close. I was so close to grabbing one of these 1080s for about $415. I barely missed it. It sold out right before I got to it. And this was, I think this was last summer, but I could be off a little bit, but I know it was last year. I think it was last summer. I missed out on that deal. And then what happened is a couple of weeks later, that deal was in the dust. And from that point forward, I couldn't sniff a 1080 for $400. There are no 1080s anywhere near $400. Prices of everything have absolutely skyrocketed. The used market prices have shot up like you wouldn't believe. Brand new prices are shooting up. You go to retailers like Fry's Electronics, you go to Micro Center, you go to any place that is selling video cards, and there are so many crypto miners that are buying every single card that they can get their hands on. And what they're doing with these cards too is they're bringing them home and they are setting up these crypto mining machines, and they are running these things 24 hours a day, just constantly at maximum usage. And these cards are literally being fried. I mean, they're literally being fried. And so even if this bubble does burst, like Columbian is talking about here, if the crypt coin bubble bursts, then you are going to have just the secondhand market just absolutely flooded with GPUs, as a lot of people try to just sell off this hardware that they no longer need. But you got to remember, all these cards have been running 24 hours a day at peak operating performance, you know, and these things, who knows how well these cards are going to work if you buy one of these secondhand cards. But even considering all of that, I mean, let's just talk about this retail situation. What is the average person to do that wants to upgrade a video card? It's literally impossible. Gary and Steve of VR Roundtable, these guys were lucky, man. They probably bought their 1080 Ti's at about the last possible opportunity that you could buy a 1080 Ti before the prices of everything just absolutely skyrocketed. And they were able to sell their used cards, their 1070s, and they got really good money for their used cards because of how the prices have skyrocketed. And in the beginning, crypto miners weren't going after the most high-end cards. They weren't going after the 1080 Ti's. But it's gotten to the point now where they are going after the 1080 Ti's. They're going after the 1060s. They're going after everything. Basically, every graphics card that is out there that has any capabilities whatsoever is being scooped up with reckless abandon. The prices are absolutely out of control. Now, what is this going to mean long term for the VR gaming market? What is it going to mean for PC gaming in general? And that's kind of the question that we're at here. Now, Josh the Nerd is asking, is this going to hamper the growth of VR? And if this continues into the foreseeable future, yes, this is going to hamper the growth of VR. We're trying to get this thing mainstream. We do have the prices down for, say, the Oculus Rift. You can get an Oculus Rift for a pretty decent price. These Windows mixed reality headsets are very affordable when they have these deals that are on Amazon and what have you. But you still need a PC to run all of this stuff. And so what is a new interested gamer that wants to jump into this PC VR gaming landscape? What are they to do? How are they going to go buy a capable gaming rig that has a video card in it, and they're just paying these outrageous prices? Now, the good news is I think if you're willing to buy an entire PC, if you're buying a pre-built PC, I don't think those prices have inflated quite to the degree that the individual cards are at. So I think a new consumer that is coming aboard, they can still buy some of these pre-built PCs, and that's probably the better way to get into this VR gaming market. The problem is a lot of these pre-built PCs don't have a very high-end GPU. A lot of them are starting out with like 1060s or something like that. And so, yeah, that will get you into VR and you can play all the VR games. But for somebody like me, I have a 970, right? If I get a 1060, that's not really an upgrade in any way, shape, or form. I mean, it's an upgrade in some respects, but not really. My 970 is highly overclocked. I have it overclocked to the point that it's probably operating to the level of, say, a 980. So me picking up a 1060 doesn't really make any sense. And then if you try to get a pre-built PC that has, say, a 1070 or a 1080 or a 1080 Ti, well, that's when the prices jump into the stratosphere, because a lot of these pre-built PCs, they don't come with those kinds of cards right away. And then so this cryptocurrency mining situation is really quite out of control. Now, a lot of people are banking on this idea that this bubble is going to burst, and that when this bubble does burst, it is going to be incredible for everybody involved, because you're going to be able to pick up a 1080 Ti for like half price of what it might normally go. And Nvidia and AMD and all these graphic card companies are highly concerned about this bubble bursting at some point. But when is this bubble going to burst? Because people have been saying that this bubble is going to burst for years and years now. I remember last year people talking about this bubble is going to burst, people saying, wait, just give it another month, this bubble's going to burst. Well, we're like 8 or 9 months later, it hasn't burst. Now, I know eventually it's going to, but when is this going to happen? So this is a story that is brewing in the background of the VR gaming scene. Now, here's the thing. We're talking about PC VR gaming. There still is console gaming, and we still have PlayStation VR, and PlayStation VR is not concerned with crypto mining. There's no issues that are going on there, at least not yet. They haven't figured out how to hack a PlayStation 4 to do crypto mining, or an Xbox One X to do crypto mining. But some people have even thought about that possibility. What if they actually figure out a way to hack these boxes into doing crypto mining? Then you're going to have crypto miners running to Target and Best Buy and buying all these Xbox One X's and simply setting them up for crypto mining, no video gaming whatsoever. And Xbox is having these incredible revenues from all the hardware sold, but they're not selling any software. So, I mean, that's something that could happen in the video game market. It hasn't happened yet, probably won't happen, but it's something that some people have postulated. But in the PlayStation VR world, that still exists. The PlayStation VR is still there. So I don't think VR in general is going to die, but this is definitely a concern when we get into the higher end PC VR markets. And for somebody that's trying to upgrade, this is a real concern for people that are in my situation, people with 970s, people with 980s, people with 980 Ti's, all of these people that they've been holding out for a long time. They know they need to upgrade their video card, but now you go to all these different websites out there and you're just seeing sticker shock that is absolutely incredible. I mean, stuff that we just haven't seen before. Prices are sometimes 3 times what the original MSRP is going for. And there are people out there actually paying the money for this stuff. It is absolutely ludicrous. And then if you go to the secondhand market and you want to buy a secondhand GPU, you're not saving much at all. And if you're getting somebody's old GPU that was used for crypto mining, again, like I said, it's running 24 hours a day. How long is that thing going to last? So this is definitely a major concern, and this is a topic that is going on. I really don't have an answer for this other than that I guess we just have to hope that this bubble bursts in the very near future. But yeah, this could really be a serious problem that could start to creep into the overall gaming industry. I mean, what is Oculus going to do about this? What is HTC? What is Steam going to, what is Valve going to do about this? They're kind of at the mercy of these forces that are beyond their control. So it's definitely something we got to watch out for. And unfortunately, there really isn't any good answer. There's no good spin that I can put on this. We're just waiting for that bubble to burst, basically. So that is certainly an interesting topic. Let's get into another couple of quick things that we want to mention. Okay, so yesterday I was talking about Sprint Vector, and I was talking about my final thoughts of the Sprint Vector open beta that happened for a number of days there. And I was wondering out loud yesterday, when is this game coming out? I thought, well, maybe February, maybe early March. You know, when is this going to come out? Well, we get the answer today. The PSVR versions of Sprint Vector are coming on February 8th. And the PlayStation VR version is coming a little bit later on February 13th. So these versions are not too far away at all. We are going to get the final version of this game very soon. Another thing that I was really wondering about the final version of Sprint Vector is how many tracks are there going to be, because in the closed beta, in the beta that they had, there were 3 available tracks, and they were awesome and cool, but 3 tracks isn't going to quite cut it. And I was thinking about the number of tracks, and I thought, well, they better have about 8 of these tracks. If they have 8 or more, that's probably decent. If they have less than 8, that's probably not a very good look. Well, the good news is there are going to be 12 different tracks that multiplayer racing can happen on, up to 8 players at a time on these 12 different tracks. And then there also is going to be 9 challenge courses. Now, these are single player only courses with diabolically designed courses that are designed to test your sprinting prowess to the extreme. And so basically we're talking about a total of 21 different courses that you can race on in Sprint Vector. Now, I'm not sure if all 21 of these things are going to look very different, or if the 12 tracks that we have, if these 9 challenge courses are using a lot of the assets of those 12 tracks. I'm not sure exactly how all that works out. But even if that's the case, I still think 12 tracks is quite a bit to work with. The 3 tracks that I was able to try were really good, incredibly colorful, awesome music. And if you're talking about another 9 additional tracks that are as good as that, that is plenty of content as far as I'm concerned. We do not have a price for this game. I'd have to guesstimate that this game is probably going to be $29.99, maybe $34.99, maybe $39.99. I would say somewhere in that kind of pricing range. I seriously doubt it will be any less than $29. I doubt it will be any more than $39. So somewhere in that range is probably going to be the price. And this is coming, of course, February 8th to the PSVR platforms and February 13th to PlayStation VR. Okay, another couple of quick minor news stories. Tiny Trax. Okay, so if you own a PlayStation VR and if you happen to be a PlayStation Plus member, Tiny Trax by Future Lab, one of the most colorful, beautiful VR games I've ever had the privilege of playing, is on sale for $9.99. It's half price. And this sale is good till, I believe, February 6th at 8 a.m. Now, it doesn't say what time zone. I'm going to assume maybe the Eastern time zone. February 6th at 8 a.m. this sale is over. But you can grab Tiny Trax for $9.99. I highly recommend it, especially if you really love colorful, bright, vivid type stuff. And Tiny Trax is just absolutely bursting with color. A couple other minor PSVR notes. Drunken Bar Fight is coming to PlayStation VR. In fact, you know, a lot of PC VR games are constantly making their way over to PlayStation VR. Out of Ammo just came out, was it today or yesterday? Out of Ammo, I think, maybe came out today for PlayStation VR. Pierhead Arcade is out today for PlayStation VR. VR The Diner Duo came out back on December 15th, and Blasters of the Universe is coming out on February 27th. So we're definitely seeing this migration of a lot of PC VR games making their way over to PlayStation VR. It's not surprising at all because you have 2 million PlayStation VR owners worldwide. This is the largest standalone VR gaming platform that is available, period. And so if you're a developer, you've done 90% of the work. If it doesn't take that much more effort to get your game up and running on PlayStation VR, of course you're going to want to do this. And so a lot of these games are coming over to PlayStation VR. And then the final story of the day I have is Cold Iron is a brand new game that is available today. It is available on Steam for the Oculus Rift and for the HTC Vive. I did not see it on the Oculus Store, but it could be coming to the Oculus Store a little bit later. Sometimes there's a delay there. And it's also available on PlayStation VR. So this brand new game called Cold Iron. Now, this game on Steam is currently on sale for $17.99, which is the 10% launch discount. Its normal price is $19.99, and on PlayStation VR, the game is $19.99. Now, this game is coming to us from developer Catch and Release, and the game is described as a puzzle/shooter. And actually, VR Roundtable, I am a member of VR Roundtable, as you guys well know. VR Roundtable got a code for this game, and I actually tried this out. I forgot about this, but because we got a code for it, but the code was embargoed till today, and we got a code like a week or so ago. I forgot all about it. Then I found out, oh, this game is available today. Oh yeah, we have a code. So I went ahead and tried playing this for about 20 minutes before recording this episode. I'm not sure if you guys can see any Jeff Gerstmann Oculus face on me. I probably wasn't wearing it quite long enough to develop my Gerstmann Oculus face, but I did play this for about 20 minutes earlier today. And I have to say, based on what I played, I would probably not jump on this right away. Now, the game is not terrible by any stretch of the imagination, but I don't see it as a $20 release. I think this would probably be a lot better at, say, like a $12.99 price or a $9.99 price from what I've seen of the game so far. But I've barely scratched the surface, barely touched this game, so I can't really give like a lot of in-depth take on it. But basically what this game is, in the early part of the game that I was in, this is basically like a gunslinger duel. It's like you're in the Wild West and you're standing there and you have your gun and there's a guy, 20 paces away from you, and you have to, you're waiting for a bell to go off. And as soon as the bell goes off, you try to pull your gun, you try to shoot the guy. That's basically what I was into when I was playing it. It works relatively well. There's nothing too bad about it, but again, nothing outstanding, nothing that is screaming to me like, oh my God, you got to run out and buy this. This is one of these kinds of games where I believe if this was available April 2016, it would probably get a lot more attention than it is being available now. So honestly, I would say don't run out there, buy it right now. I will try to play this some more. I got to the first boss and I ended up dying. I shot him a couple times, but he shot me a bunch of times. I ended up dying, didn't get past the first boss, barely scratched the surface of what this game has to offer. It's relatively colorful, has some decent production values, and if you're really looking for a Wild West type of gunslinger thing, it might be halfway decent in that regard, but at this point, I would say the pricing is a little bit out of whack. I would probably hold off. If I was you, I probably wouldn't jump on it right away, but hopefully I'll be able to play it some more, get a little bit deeper into it, see more of what it has to offer, and then have kind of a better take to give you on this. But in the 20 minutes that I tried it out, I would probably say hold off on it, maybe wait for some more detailed reviews. So basically, guys, that's going to go ahead and wrap it up. I went a little bit longer today, but I did want to get into my takes on what was that game called again? Cold Iron, yeah. So I did want to give you my takes on Cold Iron real quick and kind of get that in. So that's why we went a little bit longer today. But that's going to go ahead and wrap it up. This has been episode 87 of the Daily Vlog series for Tuesday, January 30th. And I will see everybody tomorrow on Wednesday. Take it easy. Later.